That's good.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Friday, sip and chat, relationship flow coming to you. As you see, Daryl and I are rocking it out, rocking it out. And so, it is what it is. We're going to do what we do. Want you to check in, ready to chat. Where you coming in from? Daryl, how you doing this week?
I'm doing well. Week, I did a lot of fishing.
You said you did a lot of
A
fishing,
lot
like
of fishing this week.
fishing next to the water or
Yeah,
fishing,
like
fishing.
fishing, like
I don't know. It could have been like fishing for new
fishing,
deals and
fishing next to the water. Okay, catching fish.
us as brown melanated people, we got different code words for every little thing.
Right,
So
right.
you gotta be clear. I took a little trip to the beach too on Sunday.
Nice.
I was like, I got there later than I intended, but it was okay because it didn't close until 10. Um, and I got what I needed. I was trying to go back on Wednesday, but that's when it rained really bad, so I didn't make it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this weather is crazy.
The weather is crazy. The weather is crazy. So what we got in the news and events going on this week? It's like it seems like the same old, but I don't know. People
It
keep
definitely
peeling
does.
back the layers. We got a
Yeah,
delay. You
it
got a
seems like
delay with your equipment.
uh, yeah, I see, and I'm looking at it too. Like it's like a little delay. I don't know what.
Oh goodness. So losing him with the delay. So we was getting ready to talk about like how the current events, like everything happening in the world seems to be very similar to what it has been, depending on what stream that you're looking at on the news. But one of the things I want to encourage people is to, make sure you build your immune system. Hey Robin, thanks for joining and stopping by. Make sure you build up your immune system as the world, has some things going on with it. So it's like the thing that people are not encouraging is that you make sure that you build up your immune system so that you can be prepared for whatever is happening out there in these streets as we people are jumping out in these streets. I was telling people they got to build up their immune system to everything that's going on out there. Hey Ronnie, okay, we lost them again. And then the other, like I don't really follow the news per se because it creates stress, or they repeat the same thing over and over again. It shows like they're targeted towards one particular thing. But it looked like Simone Biles has won something already in the what's it called? In the Olympics that's going on right now. And so, kudos and congrats to her for always showing up and knocking things out the box. So tonight's conversation I don't know if we have any other current events, and I won't know that until Daryl comes back, if he's able to make it back. But we were kind of following for tonight's conversation some of the things that's happening in the world that's not really a current event or a news thing, but looking at how people kind of react or feel about this whole Nick Cannon formula. And so our topic that we came up with for this evening is, can I pay you to have a baby? Like, is there more to this lifestyle than what's going on the surface? And kind of like, what are some of the consequences that can come with the decisions that are being made in regards to him having 7 children in the 6 months, I guess it's now 7 months, that we have been in this year of 2021, and kind of like, what are your thoughts about that? So I guess the first question is, can I pay you to have a baby? Like, is that really a thing? Like, that's a whole human person that you are building up. And so it's like, is that something that could be a monetary value? And if it is of monetary value that someone can pay you for that, what is the actual price amount that makes sense that, okay, yes, I'm going to have your child, and accept all of these contractual things. Robin, I'm with you. Like, it's so many things to think about. Like, when bringing a young person, a young voice into this world, exactly how is it that you decide, hey, Daryl, how do you decide for your answer to be yes or no, or even indifferent? Because that is an option as well, because some people may be on the fence. But can I pay you to have a baby?
Whoa, where are we at?
Listen, I jumped right in. I ain't had no more current events, so I had to jump right in.
Okay, you jump right in. Listen, can I pay you to have a baby?
Yes. And like, what are all the things that, can be impacted that's on the surface that we're not really considering? But I guess the first, basic question, and people in the comments are like, no, like, that's not possible. You can't pay me to have a baby.
Well, I'm going to tell them stop lying.
Well, I'm going to say, I think that they telling the truth, because the people who have responded are of seasoned wisdom. And I think that they're ready to have a different side of life than having young people to be responsible.
No, they haven't been given the right amount of persuasion to do it. So people can say anything. A lot of times, people can say anything. We're not in that mode. But I think that when you are in that position and it seems to be lucrative, that may change the pot a little bit. So it's easy for me to sit here and say what I won't do, because I don't think any of these girls that are doing it ever said that's something they were going out to do, right? I don't think they were like, I'm gonna go out and do this. No, it's in the moment, but dealing with the person, and that's how it comes about. I don't think it's as transactional as we're thinking it to be. I think it is. I guess over time, and I don't know how much time it takes, but this is something that happens over time while you're dealing with someone, and not. And I think these people. Go ahead.
But we're talking about this NC formula, right? It wasn't that much time put in to him making his deposits the way that he's made his deposits for the birth cycle to be within the first 6 months of this year. One set of twins, but it's a total of 7 children. So how much courtship, dating, getting to know you is really, really happening when, you have the time clock of when they coming into the world, and it's a life situation when a woman gives birth to a baby.
So again, we ain't talking about delivering the baby. We're talking about when the making. So I think that when people, even now, we're talking about seasoned people who have different lives. So you're not seeing everybody on a regular basis. So it may be a lot of phone calls, text messages, seeing each other maybe once or twice a week, contingent upon your work schedule. If you work at night and they work during the day, then you see each other when you can. So at the end of the day, relationships are a lot more social, as far as, text messages and calls and things of that nature, which kind of fills that time in between. So if I know that the person I'm dating, they travel a lot for work, okay, and I only get to see them maybe, on the weekend, well, then we adjust for that. So this is how that I can see it happening. I can see someone doesn't have to be with you all the time. I can send you gifts and tell you I'm thinking about you, those good morning texts that get women through. Hey, good morning, sunshine. I was thinking about you. Like, those little things do go a long way sometimes in these type of relationships.
I mean, they go a long way in most type of relationships, but yet, like, women, maybe not all. You see, I had to pause real quick. Maybe not all, but usually there's like an emotional connection. And for the characteristics of the women who he has attracted are women who, may not be really solid in life yet. And so they're maybe looking at it as, I don't want to say meal ticket, because that's definitely showing my wisdom years, but like as a meal ticket. They see what his value is. They see what coinage he brings to the situation. But to bring another life into this thought process, I think, can be selfish in a sense.
Oh, I definitely agree. I think it's very selfish, right? But I mean, when if we're gonna be honest,
Well, I hope we're honest. Don't hesitate.
well, I mean, women have women have had babies for a lot less. They have not even got McDonald's and had babies. So I think that getting yourself in situations where you like someone and you're letting them shoot the club up, whether it's the cool dude on the block or that flashy dude with the nice car that you think, whatever it is. I mean, I see women getting into these things all the time. I mean, men have trinkets to get women. Like, that's the point. So we have these nice shiny things, women jump on it, and then 9 months later you have a baby. So I understand the formula. Do I think it's selfish? Absolutely. Do I think it's insanely selfish in this situation when you know that this person is not monogamous, this person is doing their thing, which I think he's pretty upfront about it. Hey, don't hate me at 8:11, okay? You hate me at 8 o'clock. You know better.
See, that's that family talk right there. As you were saying.
So I'm just saying that I think that what you're talking about, the mindset is, and again, I don't care about the season or unseasoned, because the seasoned women you can make them do just the same thing that these other women do, right? The dick is a powerful thing. I'm just letting you know. Okay, there it is. Hush.
Yeah, there it is. But everybody doesn't have to be digmatized in order to make these risk-taking type decisions. And I think that the proposal is being presented to them in such a way that it looks more appealing to, I don't know, whatever is different than the lifestyle that they have.
Whatever appealing to, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, so in this case,
the world and media always thrives on things and selling it to you when you're at your lowest self. So if you don't feel as great about yourself, some of the options that are presented to you seem like the answer, if you will. Mm-hmm. And because it seems like that immediate microwave answer, then it's like, okay, let me go ahead and rock out with this. Yes, digmatized. Like, everybody ain't got to be digmatized.
It is. Dick is a powerful thing. I'm gonna let you know.
I mean, what we gonna say? Vagina? I don't want to say the P word. I mean, it has its power too.
It has its power. It has.
Ruth, what word?
It has a power. It does have a power, but only to the person that's using it at that time. Right, or the person who's trying to get it at that time. It's really it's so many women that the market is inundated with it, so it's not as powerful as you may think.
Because you looked away on that one, huh?
Sort of. So, but like in this case, So now, and when you said, they may not be, I guess their self-worth may not be what it should be, but I don't know about that. Maybe they're saying, you know what, I want a baby, and having a baby in this situation could, secure the baby's future. I guess that's not rational thinking. Yeah, so it's not really rational. You're right. There's no rational way.
Because even when we talk about, the princess is here. Even when you think about if it's rational or not rational, no one is thinking about the total impact that it's going to have when the children begin to grow up. And then you have to think about,
I agree, yes.
You have to think about, like, what if they end up crossing paths and not even knowing that they're siblings, depending on what the core of how they're raised, and not knowing that they're siblings, and then even that immune system all crossing up, like that's not gonna That's not going to fare
Yeah,
well.
and what I see when I was looking at this, my thing is more, what are we teaching the children that are involved in these situations? Like, so you can't really tell them that show them like oh well, this is what a relationship should be. Don't do what we did, or what we did is okay. Either way, you're showing them something that, like, I would hate for my daughter to think it's okay to be one of 8 and have these babies and be out here, right? That's just not somewhere or something I would want to teach them or show them or be part of, to make her think that it's okay, or how they're even going to feel as they get older. Like, whoa, what was I? I was just born because of what, right? So it's a lot of things. I think, like, and this is where the selfishness, I agree. You don't look into how this is going to affect the child in the long run, what they're going to think about relationships, what it's going to tell your young boys, like, yo, as long as you can afford it, you can knock down all these girls and get them pregnant as long as you can afford it. I think that's a bad rule to go down. It definitely doesn't support what we would think is traditional family. It doesn't support that in any type of way.
And definitely, like, it's like, it's the self-esteem of a woman, it's self-esteem of a man as well, because there's so many layers to what is driving possibly the decision that somebody would live this life, like beyond the money part. How are you defining yourself as a human being, or as a responsible, moral, and whatever your morals are? Because your morals could be, out of the box thinking, but there's still a set of morals that you live by. They may not look like mine or yours, but they're what you think about. How do I know how to attack?
That is a good. I mean, I wonder, even for Nick to be in that situation, I wonder what is his thinking. Like, what is your processing? Your processing your mind. What? Why do you think this is okay? Why do you think it's okay to try to populate the world with all these different women at the same time? I really want to know his mindset.
So because of how this wasn't my topic, but I'm always taking one for the team or whatever. I was like, okay, let me go check out some of these YouTube, conversations or whatever. And apparently, because of his medical condition, and not knowing what the clock is on that, which brings up so many other thoughts. Like, is he going to be an absentee father? What will the children have their experience with him as a father before that? But in his words, he is seeking a tribe, and a tribe is usually at the number of 12, and he's at the number 7 as of now. So he has some catching up to do to continue to build his tribe. Now, what his purposes of said tribe is, once they're all here, not quite sure, but he wants to build a tribe.
So I'm sorry about that. Now, so that's still, to me, it's mental health. Like, I understand that I get what he has.
I think they identified it as lupus, but then they took it away. Like, they're not quite sure.
Yes.
But it's lupus.
Yes. I remember some years ago he got really sick. He had to stop doing everything. He lost a lot of weight and things of that nature. So I think that his way of thinking is even more like in bizarro world, because if I'm sick, I don't want to have all these children out here that may be fatherless.
No, we can't hear you because the call is still coming through, interrupting your signal.
I'm sorry. Yeah, something keeps breaking.
So, like, what do you guys think about the mental health part of the impact of this formula of being paid to have a baby? So, like, starting there from the contractual conversation transaction. And then in the long term, if there is a medical concern involved that could possibly be terminal at some point or sooner than the children become of adolescence or even as adults, what is the impact on the development of everybody involved? So I'm not sure where Daryl is with his connection and in this conversation, but like, what do you guys think? What do you think is the mental health component that needs to be considered when you have multiple children that may or may not have the full life, which that can happen really out of any situation. It's just in this situation, you are intentionally interacting with people with the purposes with having a child in mind, and then knowing that you may or may not be able to emotionally attach, like, as a couples and family therapist, like that just speaks so many different volumes to me. But just wanting to have like a lay conversation around this, because their ability to attach and actually will impact them in their professional world as well, because their ability to kind of interact and be with individuals or be on teams and be able to partner with individuals, it's possible that there will always be a disconnection in the connection. There's Daryl.
Yeah, sorry, my phone keeps going in and out. So I missed whatever you said because it was battling. I was fighting with it over here. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
well, I was bringing the mental health part up and like the attachment and how it does impact not only the adolescents and them growing into young adult, but then when they begin to try to be a team member or leader and stuff like that, it's still other challenges that come into play as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's
and we can't hear you. You need airplane mode. So I was waiting on Daryl's response to the mental health and emotional component. Do you guys have any thoughts that you would think about in regards to how having multiple children and multiple different situations, how that impacts just the natural growing up? And I know, single identified parents that are not partnered up, tend to make successful development of children. But this one just seems a little bit different. And so I was just wondering what your thoughts and feedback is regarding that. Anybody? I know for me, like, I know Daryl in the beginning at the offset said that he doesn't believe us. I'm gonna say us, that said, no, this wouldn't be an option that you could pay me for having a child. That we were just saying that because the situation is different. But I know it wouldn't work for me. Like, you just paying me and then you abandoning, like you only providing like a financial resource. Like, for me, I'm concerned about the social impact, like all of the social, emotional, the milestones that the individual would, be engaged with, how it is they're going to develop, what they're going to learn from this, and how other relationships are important moving forward. So it's like that would be a big key factor for me as someone, if I was to be presented with this type of contractual arrangement. I agree with you, Net. It's tough because everybody's situation is different. And so I don't know if you were, here when I was saying that, everybody has their own values, beliefs, or morals or whatever. And like mine can look very different from yours, and both of ours can look very different than Daryl or anybody else in this conversation, but they're still ours. So in even trying to have a conversation about this, it just provokes so many different legs that this conversation can kind of take, because it's not the lifestyle of probably people here in this conversation. But it's like, it's so much stuff under the surface. And like, why would somebody want, like, I just want to know, what's the purpose of having a tribe? And if a tribe is of 12 children and he's at 7, what's the purpose of having a tribe? And why could the tribe not be built with, I guess, with just the people he has in his life right now? Because I believe he's out seeking other people, to kind of participate in that. So just kind of wondering what your thoughts would be. Oh, it sounds like Daryl is coming back. Definitely people with certain lifestyles and money and higher level, I don't want to say thinking, but just thought processes. They just do different things that's not of the norm. Like the decisions. I know I usually have this conversation with a friend of mine who knows people who have like high level athletes, that the decisions that they make is way different than what we would think, because their access to things is way different. So yes, the mental health of children might be affected. Not sure what the tribe mentality stems from. Right. And I'm wondering like what it was that maybe, and this is just a hypothesis, what did the mental health professionals say to him? What did the medical professionals say to him that made him walk out of that particular, one or several of those doctor's visits and say, okay, the way to my wellness would be to contribute to the world and contribute my seed in multiple different ways. Like, I just wonder, like, what is the puzzle pieces that led to this was the answer? And, it goes back to people with money do different things. But it's still like you're bringing a whole human being into the world. And it's like, okay, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't get it because it's just so many layers to his lifestyle, his decision options that don't relate to me at all. So we're gonna make Daryl talk because he's the one that hasn't been here, so he has to talk now. No, we can't hear you. I hear something.
All right, how about now?
We can hear you now.
There we go. Learn something.
And you got to catch up on the impact of children, the impact of him wanting a tribe, where that mentality comes from. People with money, how they do different things. We went back to the whole moral concept. But I wonder what in the medical conversation, because that medical conversation came at the same time of him losing like some high value employment opportunities at the same time. And I just wonder what was happening with him that contributing his seed the way that he intends to do that. What does that mean for him? They do play with the existing.
Yeah, so and that's what I don't. Well,
the
I don't
children
think they
do not live in the same
like I said,
house.
they don't think about the child.
Yeah, Robin was asking, do the children live in the same house? No, they're all in, I don't want to say disconnected, but they're in different.
No, they're all with individual women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever the situation is, they're in that situation.
I was trying to turn the microphone over to Daryl, and then now he's gone. No, but Robin, they're all in different households. So they're not even in the same household. Even if they had like a different relationship where all of the parents can kind of like coexist under one roof, that hasn't been a decision that I've heard him make to say that he was putting them under one household.
No, and one thing I did, one girl had an issue with miscarriage, and she had an issue with one of the other was saying she was pregnant. So Nick was supposed to put out a statement or something defending her. How individual women are. I think but I don't think there's any really and I don't think kumbaya under one roof type of. He's not even thinking about getting married. This has being married. He said he'll never get married again. He's just out here, Johnny Appleseed eating them up, and probably trying to feed someone up right now. But the other, I looked into his finance is supposedly even with losing a lot of things, the not X Factor, whatever Cruz took over, some opportunities, that he still should be in a position to support all these children. But then it goes to, right, what kind of paperwork do they have? What happens
right.
is sickly? What happens if he does, happen to, or even get in a car accident and right?
That changes his income abilities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What this man's finances, because he is the father of the children, won't be close to probably what he's because he wants to. That when you get into these situations, I don't think they, it's I don't like. It's just I don't. It's no, I can see it now. If he was lying to all these girls, maybe I could see that kind of people sucked into something. But from my understanding, I kind of know what they're getting into. It's not
at the date process,
sneaking around or anything.
Right.
Like I'm leaving your house. I'm gonna leave your house and go to Susan's house. Try to feed you up. I'm gonna go keep it going, and you're okay with it. You're okay with it.
So Robin, he does have a medical condition. I believe it's identified as lupus, but and he was diagnosed with that at the same time that he lost some of his, earning opportunities, or like they were compromised or something like that. He wasn't working. And so the combination of those.
He was diagnosed with lupus a while ago. That was way before he got into
that was trouble. In the Mariah Carey days?
Yeah. Okay. Or right after. He got real sick. He left the radio. And he lost a lot of weight. So at that time, that was, that happened. A lot of weight, muscle and everything after he got better. So, but that was when he lost things. I mean, was it last year, the year before the pandemic? Which kind of makes sense because that missed out here where he had the epiphany body up, I know. Somehow that was a good idea.
Yeah, so but when you look at it from a mental health standpoint, like all of the sequence of events in his life lead up to him creating this mindset that he has created of depositing his seeds all over the place. And then someone said the reason for making the decision, I guess in the 2020 for them to be born in the first 6 months of 2021 was for tax credits, to make sure that he can ensure his income stability through tax credits.
Your tax credit is not going to outdo with 8 bills you have now, and they're going to have a 18. So I'm going to say no to that. I will say, and also maybe grief, right? Different ways, and losing all those. It could have been grieving, and his grief could have turned into these very, because it all right on the time that he lost everything. So that's what spawned everything. That's where it started. I lost everything. I'm bored and knock down all these girls.
That's why I said this thing has so many different legs, because you keep going from the perspective I understand for you to come from as a man. Like, I'm gonna just knock down all these girls and get these trophies. And you didn't say trophies, but I'm adding that in. But, it's like that one perspective. Then it's like he has monetary access and status that sometimes women seek, saying, "Oh, well, I had a baby by X," and
absolutely
having that whole zip code in their name, so it's just like, but his perspective as the man and the common denominator to it all, it's just like, okay, so if you say grief could definitely be manifested into a decision such as this. Mental health and social wellness for everybody involved, because I think for a person to say yes, like, that just comes so loaded. So is lupus hereditary?
I don't know. I mean, that would. I want to look into that, but I'd say it is.
And then the other part,
I would definitely.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I wouldn't want those genes. Oh, because and he shouldn't want to pass those on. It's hereditary. I don't know enough about it. But my question would be:
paying people. Do you know how much he's paying people?
Absolutely. None of that. Never. I guess they didn't want to make it look like. I didn't see anything to say it was like he's going to give this to this person or yada yada. I do see him with them. I seen girls with the twins, and he's laying up with the new one, and he shared some posts about them. It's not like he's hiding it or anything. I just wonder. Question would be too. We can kind of Nick Cannon to see why he might have done. But what if came outside of, like you said, the famous person, maybe a couple of dollars, that really worth being connected to something that is to you, because I doubt he's okay with them, whatever they want to do. When he's in town, if you can't have a life outside of him, I doubt that. I doubt it works that way, because whatever you are getting probably would be cut off.
Right. Which is, I mean, I actually know somebody who has to live under those type of restrictions or whatever, that they can't remarry. And I just wonder what is really the strain? Like, how do you continue to exist learning, knowing that you have these limitations in regards to how you can move about as a healthy single person now with a child or two?
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Even when I wonder, was he there when these women had the children? Was he there at doctor's visits? Like, or this just a lonely process that you did by yourself? That would be much better if you had the person who contributed to the baby be there. Like, that had to be, to me, I couldn't feel great about that either. About going through this process alone. Going to the hospital alone, having a baby alone. Because even if he knows, depending where he's at, it could take hours to get there, and the baby would be here. So you're really, like I said, you had this baby to be alone with this baby.
Right.
It's tough. Like, I don't know how you sign up for something like that. Or now, are you regretting it? Now, what are you looking at the child like now? And everything in the child, is that reminded you of this bad decision you made? Like, it's a whole bunch of negatives that can come from this.
Right. And then, like, do you even think that your decision was a bad decision?
And
then, like, I know women encounter postpartum. So how are you managing that and raising a child? And like, all these natural risk or situations that come and evolve from the birth of a child. So to have the question just presented, can I pay you to have a baby? Are you looking at everything that you're saying yes to beyond that dollar sign?
and funny you can't, because even as we discuss it more, I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. You know, it's so many things, and to think about that keep coming as a child gets older. It's like, do you think about this child not having Father's Day, the dad not being around, or you be like, about if you're in school with 2 or 3 of your brothers and sisters, half brothers and sisters, you're in school with them. How does that feel?
Right.
I mean, these kids need to be in therapy now to deal with the when they learn out about their birth, when they start realizing what the father did. School, social media is going to be crazy. They're going to be talked about like, hey man, you know your mom is retarded. You know, she was 1 to 8 or whatever the case may. You know, kids are mean, and they'll find anything to pick on you with, and that would be something they can really go at a kid about when you know. So it's so many different layers that it doesn't seem like it's going to get any easier for the kids. Even the family knows what it looks like 5 years down the road, 6 years down the road, if he's supporting them still, if he's, if you know, what it looks like, you know, if things go bad, it's so many things. And I think they traded a moment of ecstasy for a whole life full of extra drama that is really not necessary.
But I wonder, hey, Jaja, I wonder also, does this set the tone for others who have a lifestyle such as his, medical condition or not? Will they decide, okay, yeah, hey, I want a tribe too?
So it's funny, I was just watching something. I don't know his name. I think it's like, he's a comedian, like Country Courtney or something like that. I know he has 10 children.
He's funny, yeah.
10 children. Yes.
Right.
So he has 10 children. I don't know how many different women it is. But he's like, you know, now making money, he's taking care of all of them. And it was tough because he had them, I think, between 17 and 22. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like, I was young and dumb. But he admits I was young and dumb. He's like, I wouldn't do that now. And, you know, he's, I think, 33 now. And he's like, this is not what it is. And he's like, I'm happy now that I'm outside because kids are older. But it wouldn't be something I would do as a grown man. Right. So for Nan and Nam to be doing this is like, come on, this is not even a grown man decision. And I don't know what Nick is. I don't know if he's, you know, he's being enlightened, wearing the head rag. He's supposed to be an enlightened man.
Is a nice
and
word.
this is not really enlightened. So I'm not sure.
And we have to again go to our own personal compass. It might be enlightened according to whomever and whatever it is that he follows as his universal path.
Gotcha.
I mean,
you know, I don't know. I know
it don't agree with mine, but I'm saying
I don't know anybody agrees with, like, who out here trying to populate the world. And then, like I said, he has no connection to the women, really. That's the other thing. It's not like he's saying I have sister wives. It's not like he's saying I'm gonna take care of all these women like in our community. He's saying I'm just dropping it off in different area codes, and that's it. You know, he said he got hard dick and bubble gum, and he ran out of bubble gum, and he's just giving it to. So I don't know what is he starting his own religion? Like, I don't know what he's doing. You know, and that's what I really would like to hear him see his thought process and see where he's coming from. If he could even articulate it. 'Cause I know the one thing I did hear, he was very still unapologetic, like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
You know, a very, very, you know, that goes with, I think, his bravado and, you know, trying to be something he's not. He's always, to me, seemed to be kind of like one of them corny dudes that are trying to be something they're not. So.
Right. Ruth said his turbans are on too tight. I agree, because it's making his brain cells and blood not flow the right way. Ruth said it's on too tight. His turban is too tight.
You need to put his turban on the other thing. He got on the wrong head.
He got going on.
Yeah. So, but you know, and the problem with Nick Cannon is, I think another problem is, again, like I said, he's promoting this to to men. Some men, like I said, may see this and be like, yo, Nick Cannon's doing, it makes sense. And it's giving another bad example to what I feel a man should be. It's giving a very bad example because, like I said, he's not even having any bond or relationship with these children.
Definitely not. And so, he's like very good friends with Kevin Hart. And Kevin Hart just did the movie. I'm gonna say the name of the movie wrong. Yeah, it may be called Fatherhood or something like that. And so
yes.
Movie. And so now Kevin Hart, as his best friend, did a billboard in 3 different cities and put his real, not a fake, his real phone number on the bottom of the billboard. And so people were text messaging him, FaceTiming him, and it's this, like a prank gift. But I think it was also like, dude, what you doing? Like what you doing? Like trying to hold him accountable.
Well, I think he's trying to get him back because Nick sent him a camel for his birthday, a llama for his birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I didn't know which of those events happened first because I actually don't follow either one of them. So it's like, I didn't know which of those events happened first. Like, did the llama come first and then he responded with the billboard?
Yeah. So now that's an interesting question too. What do your friends say to you in that situation? Now, I'm saying, whoa, like, bro, what are you doing? But I'm coming from a broke dude. Like, I don't make, $30 million. So as me, if my dude, like, he had one girl pregnant, I'm like, oh, you sure? Are you ready for that? But 2 girls, like, I would have a whole different conversation because I'm like, what are you doing? But I'm saying, are they supporting him? Are they honest with him about their feelings? Not that, as friends, you should be able to tell each other, like, yo, you wilding. Like,
you out of pocket.
You
doing too much.
Doing the most. But again, I just, and he may be preying on a certain type of woman. I don't know, because these 8 girls, or even more, like I said, because I know some had miscarriages, some just didn't get pregnant.
Right.
What is on your noodle to make you want to be second fiddle, to make you be, not be the only one, for you to be sharing someone? Like, why? That to me is and I don't know, not a woman, but I'm like, I would.
Especially when we have structures, whether we follow them, agree with them or not, there are structures or value systems in place for like sister wivery, or, like where there's multiple women in a house and multiple children in a house. There are lifestyles already in the world that complement that type of lifestyle. That's not what he's following.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. He's not leaving you with much other than a baby. He's not leaving you with much. He's saying, look, I'm coming to drop this off in you. Right. And that's what he's giving you. Some
people in the hood would say the same thing, but they can't afford like anything close to what Nick is offering them. But
absolutely. And they might have to work a lot harder than Nick. Nick's not working as hard as it's hard out in the streets without $30 million behind your name,
Wow. Exactly. The fame and fortune is like part of the price tag that they will agree with and go for. And I'm just like that's just that I don't know. It ain't.
I wonder if they're also trying to put themselves in position to get that next millionaire. Like, so what I mean by that, I see a lot of these women who may date one person in that circle, and now you're in that circle, so other people know you now. So you may be able to get another baller. You may get another person in the industry. Like Drake was dealing with that woman at the basketball game who I think her husband was ex-football player, but and now he was dating her. He rented out like the basketball stadium and he's with her. Now she's famous because of him. So people now will holler at her because, he's going to be done with her soon. But now she's on that menu now because now she broke into that on their radar. So
Right.
I wonder if it's something like that as well. It's just, I just don't understand what the women are getting out of other than, a baby and maybe a couple dollars. It's just awkward. And then on top of all that, what about, like, nobody cares about diseases anymore? Like, they're like, we don't care. Let's just pass this around. So one of us got it.
Everybody that he has put that stick in is in that moment with you.
Listen, you know what I mean? And we know he's still running condoms, everybody getting pregnant. So not only is everybody pregnant, he's shooting the club up, you feel me? So whatever he has, he just, and I mean, in COVID season, you're given the gift of giving. I'm confused. Like, these women had no fear. Now, I can understand him not fearing death because he feel like he's going to die anyway. But hey, what about you?
And his turban, why are you allowing it? He's not going to be dead. His turban that's so tight.
Listen, I don't know what. Listen, he can't breathe because I'm, just that alone. And for him, like, your hubris can't be to the point where you don't think these women are doing things outside of you when you're not there. When you're gone 2 and 3 weeks, you got to understand somebody else is in there tearing her back out just like you. And we know she don't like condoms either because she lets you shoot the guy. You know what I mean? So you guys is in there about changing bodily fluids. And, it's crazy. Like I said, one person gets something, they all got it.
They all,
every time pass that around.
You with somebody, you with everybody that you've been with, like everybody. Especially if
and that's another thing that I think. So, and that's another thing that I'm thinking about now, that he's not even promoting safe sex. And some of these people out here, it's okay. Let's just, they don't think about that side of everybody's invincible until you're not. So that's another thing. There's no safe sex. It's not smart. This whole thing is just buffoonery at its best.
It is.
And I think it makes us look, it's like, why are we doing it? You see other races doing this and promoting it like this, you don't. And I'm not saying they don't do it, but we don't know about it because we don't hear it. Nick, you out here being sloppy. You need NDAs. You need something so people can't talk. Nobody should be having pictures online. We shouldn't even know about this, right? But what you think you're doing for us, you're not. If this is something you're supposed to be enlightened and you're an enlightened man, well, again, you're making us look silly. You're making us look like what they say. We're always out here jackrabbits, having babies out of wedlock all over the United States, everywhere. Like, that's just silly.
All over with no problems.
None. And the women
are like, what's the application process like? How does he screen the people? And what do you put on that application to be up next? Because if he's at 7 and the Trump is actually 12, he got some more applications to complete.
Well, like I said, the one girl came forward. She said she had a miscarriage. So he's still actively doing it. I don't know if the application, Nick is probably, meeting them and grabbing whoever is going home with them, Which none of these women
Go ahead.
None of the girls that I've seen are like, I know before he used to date like everybody in the industry, like some of the prettiest girls in the industry. Now these girls are like, like some of the wild out girls,
that's the word.
Very nondescript women. So it's not like these women aren't. And like I said, that may be the lure to them that he's Nick Cannon to them. He's somebody to them. They're for lack of a better word, fucking up. They're going up.
They're doing a leveling up.
Yes, they so it's just interesting. And they need to do a study on this and talk to these women, dissect their mind, and like, why do you think this? And why do you think this is okay? And then maybe 3 years down the road, do you still think it's okay?
Right.
When either the promises he made in those pillow talks, either he keeps them or he doesn't keep them. He's
able to keep them or not keep them, because that's another capacity is another situation, because he does have, a job could be here today and gone tomorrow. So that's one thing. So his income could be here today and a different thing tomorrow or 6 months down the line. And so what he agreed to provide for you can easily disappear, unfortunately.
And that's what I mean. I don't understand how they could believe that. I guess he must believe in things, you know. So they must, I don't know. But how they could believe that this could be forever. Like, you see too many stories where it doesn't happen forever, or say he doesn't the money he has, or he can't doesn't.
Girl, what you money. Mean? My situation is gonna be different. He loved me this time. This one loved me for real.
You right. You right. Let me. So I definitely would like to see how this looks down the road. And I wonder what, and I wonder what the situation is for visiting his children. Does he have time with his children? Does he spend time? Because I know they said he was a great dad to the Mariah Carey, his kids with her. I know they said he was a real good dad. But I don't know about this mental health part now. You know, I don't know if I would be comfortable. Like, I don't know if my kids around because I don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You know, you leave them with babysitters, so you can go out here and get number 10 and 11. You know.
But did he have children with Mariah Carey, or she had children already?
No, they had kids.
So I wonder, are those kids counted?
I think they had twins as well.
Okay.
I think they had twins as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's part of it. I think he had 3 pre, and then the 4 he had now, and if I'm not mistaken, makes the 7.
Interesting. I wonder how she feels
if I'm not mistaken,
about his whole new breakdown or lifestyle. I don't know what you want to call it. Like, I wonder how does she feel being connected to him at this time, although I know she's still being successful and doing well and apparently hanging out with Eminem and you know, whatever that world is like.
You're hanging out with Eminem now?
According to YouTube, when I was trying to get up on my information to have this conversation, yes.
Hilarious. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Which is a match that I would never even put together. Like, I would never put the match. I know we'll put the match of Nick Cannon and Mariah together, but I definitely wouldn't put Mariah with Eminem. And I rocks with Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they were beefing before, but I don't know anything outside of that. But I would think that, you know, Mariah was, I don't know, she hasn't said anything, but I definitely think she knows him well. Okay, they were married for a little while, and she probably knows this is not him. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to find out more things happen, and he really mentally, you know, had some type of breakdown.
Ruth said Mariah needs help.
This is not normal. It's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
You know, but it's strange. I wonder who Nick really thinks he is, because it seems like he's still searching for himself.
I also wonder, you know, in that industry of Hollywood. I wonder, in the industry of Hollywood, was this a contract that was presented to him that he's trying to complete?
So you never know. I mean, we start getting into these conspiracy, Illuminati type theories. You never know, because it happened, like I said. Yeah. But I mean, I get it, because there had to be something to go from Nick, all your life, we knew your MO. You were a lover. Like, he definitely was engaged to, like, I think Christina Milian, Jessica something. She was a Victoria's Secret model. I think one other person I know, and Mariah, but he dated a lot of women in the industry, but they always said he was really kind, corny, but kind, you know, gifts and things of that nature. So this Nick is very different than even what we knew of him. Like, he's definitely changed, and not for the better. You know, I think because I was starting to think that Nick, when he took the stand against CBS, and he's like, I'm not changing whatever I said, and you know, he was seeming like he was championing the melanated cause. It's like he was saying some of the right things, and then he does this. Like, come on, man, dang. Then you go out here and just become everything that they say we are, a stereotypical black man. You're just just a horny little devil just running around. And he's like, and he's okay with that.
Right.
Like, how are you okay with this? But and that's the problem with money. Sometimes money doesn't allow you to be checked.
Right. Or it gives you permission.
Nobody can check you. Exactly, because I can do what I want because I have enough money. I can do it because so what you say? I don't care what you say.
Right.
I can outdo anything you say because I can go take this trip and forget about it. So, and then people around you want to get paid, so they don't want to say anything either to upset you because they don't want you to cut them out of the pay, off the program.
And that's the thing. Like when you don't say something, if it's something that you don't agree with and you just laugh it off, but don't hold the person accountable, you're actually agreeing to whatever it is that you don't agree with. But instead of holding the person accountable, you're thinking about what's going to be the impact of you saying something, and you worried about the yourself versus the outcome of the decisions that are being made. I mean, there's so many cases we can go for that.
Absolutely. So then there's no accountability in that situation, and you just have somebody just living reckless, and they actually start to believe it's okay because you don't say anything, and you said you're laughing with them about it. It's like, yo, number 8, like, yo, word 8, yo, you killing them, son. So you just made that, you just affirmed that action. You just said it was okay by that response. And, sometimes, again, funny because I remember as a younger man, it seemed like the more women you had, it was looked at as, you were a man, like, oh, you got another one, son. But that's when you're younger. Like, I wouldn't right now and have that, like right now I don't have that mindset, like, you know what, I'm gonna go get 10 tonight, killing them. No. It really makes sense. So, like, no. Oh, I'm tired. I gotta take a nap. This is a lot of work.
Listen, it is a lot of work.
And that's the other thing too, like how much, like, you went from being a good dad to now to being what?
And that's why, like,
all your beliefs are gone.
It has to be some kind of, I'm not necessarily wanting to just, default to it being a mental health break, but it has to be something that just changed and shifted in your life that made this okay.
Absolutely. And I mean a major shift, because it seems like everything you stood for yesterday, today you don't.
Right.
And it was that quick. It literally was that quick. You're dealing with Mariah, everything was cool. Even after the divorce, it was quiet. And then now this past year, you dropped 4 kids and you cool with it.
And you cool with it.
Yeah, you're like, and I want some more. And like you said, he said, I want more. I'm 4, 5 off. I got to shoot up 5 more clubs.
So his dad was opposed to his decisions initially, but then when he said he screened the women carefully and got agreements in writing, it's okay. So that's what is that saying?
I did hear something about the dad, and I'm like, what kind of father are you to okay this nonsense? And I want these agreements. I mean, what is really in this agreement? Is it like, for you'll get X amount of dollars a year for, like, so then it is transactional if that's the case.
Right.
Then it's very transactional.
Yeah. So like, if he, like, how young is he that he thinks he's going to die?
I would say the same thing. How old is he?
Yeah.
He ain't 30. Like, and he's going to die 30? Because. No, I'm saying he's older than 30. No, but what I'm saying is that, no, he's going to die because he's dehydrated from all this sex from these different women.
Not dehydrated. His birthday is October the 8th, 1980, so he is 40.
There you go. So, like, he's having a midlife crisis too, it might be. So most people buy a nice car. He has 4 babies.
Oh God, I'm sure the car is a little less pricey, a little less detailed than the Euro. Yes.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a very sad situation. It wasn't well thought out. It doesn't take into account to, I think, even the women's feelings down the road, his feelings down the road, of how it's going to look 5 years from now. It doesn't take into account to what the kids are going to deal with. It's really not a good situation. And it said it's scary because what if the woman,
their mindset is going to be different too in 5 years from now, 3 years from now. Like they're going to look at life, their outlook on life is going to be way different than the time that they agreed to this whole process. So yeah, he's a pro-lifer, crazy
and
man.
then like you said, and I kind of said, like, what if they do have a postpartum type situation? Who's going to be there to help them with that? You know, what supports do they have? And what supports do they have that they really trust? Because obviously you're making these weird decisions based on anything but, you know, love, respect. It seems like it's based off, like you said, it's more of a monetary gain. You know,
it's
your baby is a
that works only for them. Yeah, it only works for them because, you know, as it's been shared in the comments, you know, earlier, like what if people who cannot afford this lifestyle begin to say, oh, well, yeah, let me just go do that. I need a tribe too. Like,
well, we see that all the time. People have 3 or 4 different, you know, children's mothers, and everybody's on, you know, assistance and things of that nature. And that's why I said it's dangerous to do this because it's not something that we should be promoting.
But it also is again, at the end of the day, narratives though, like status, or you think stability, you have these different ideas of what being connected to this individual through a child is going to bring. And then when it doesn't, the person who loses the most, you lose a part of you, but the child is the one who is the dangling carrot here with no concern for what it is. And they become in survival narrative, like by default.
Wow. Is he picking these women that are just, you know, looking for that handout, looking for that hand up, I don't know. It's just, I mean, and like I said, once that money's in front of you, it definitely changes your outlook on things.
You're not looking,
and you don't look past the forest. No, you're looking at that night, like, okay, look, I can get how much? And all you want to do is what? Okay. And we know that he's viral. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's viral. He in the spot every time. It's about what do you think? Glinka Palova, whatever he's using, because
some sea moss,
fertile myrtle. Yeah, listen, sea moss by pound. He don't miss. He's like, listen, I'm gonna get you pregnant. I'm letting you know, you're gonna be pregnant.
Like I saw a story not too long ago from a man who was from Chicago. No, he was in New York, and he was an identified Jewish man who was single. His siblings all had children. They didn't actually agree. Kind of was like pushed away from the family. But he basically went on Craigslist.
Oh, was selling a sperm?
Yes. And so he said it was certain things.
Yeah.
Like he had to eat a certain way. He had to have 3 days in between. He would meet the women at Starbucks. He would meet them at like Starbucks or McDonald's parking lot and just kind of make the transaction. He actually wasn't getting paid because his real profession paid him well, but he was trapped. They banned him from going to India and to Africa because of the purposes of his trip. Yeah.
Hey, we don't got time for this. Keep your little jeans right where they at.
He had close to 80 children though.
Yep. It's some sick people out here. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's just not. It's in the sense that, like you said, I don't know if these kids are gonna cross paths.
This person was like, I'm giving them a gift of something that they're not able to have otherwise. So he just felt like he was being the savior and helping these women. and most of them were melanated. They weren't all African American, but they were mostly melanated people. He just felt like he was giving them the gift that they wanted.
Mm.
Where do you get to
I
that
don't understand
point?
some of these people. Was he melanated?
He was Jewish, identified as a Jewish man. There's some people who believe that they are melanated because they have the woolen hair, but there's some people that say they're not. So I don't know.
Well, okay, we won't get into that, but
that's another conversation.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. We won't go down that rabbit hole tonight.
No, not at 9:10.
Yeah, no. But it's so crazy. Like your hubris is making you think that you are saving the world. Like, come on, man. 80 children. That means, like I said, they meet and
he's giving them the
genes
gift.
being so close, you can have some little. Yeah.
I'm like, so then you have
look at him.
In that situation. You as the woman, what is the thing called? She said all these people walking around with an undiagnosed, and with the prescription. Yes. I'm trying to think of it. So the women, like in his situation of the 80 children, what is that tool in the kitchen? They got to do the baster thing to make it work.
Oh, turkey baster. Yeah. Turkey baster.
Now they got to insert it on their own, and hopefully it lands in the right place of the uterus and all. That's too much.
See, my question. I don't know why you have to go through those measures. I mean, there's people out here.
There are.
But I guess they're going in the sense that this person can't come back and say they want anything. It's to the point where it's this bang bang transactional. You have now. I don't really know who you are. You don't have to come back and this baby's all mine. Like, right. I guess that's part of it.
Wow. Ruth, I'm glad somebody else saw this shenanigan too, because that was really. I was like, okay, he was on one of those talk show places.
I wonder if it was a black guy. If it was a black guy, what would it look like if it was a black guy doing that?
He probably would have got locked up.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the interesting part about it. This Jewish guy gets a talk show.
Gets to be the guest. And I think he was on Dr. Oz or something like that. Yeah, I think it was like Dr. Oz or one of those shows that it was just like, okay, what am I looking at? But because I was at the nail salon and it was on the TV, I was just like, okay, what is happening? It was Dr. Oz, see?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I don't know what else we could say about this whole shenanigan, because it's definitely not the lifestyle or moral values that we represent in these comments so far. And, between us, and I don't know anybody, they might catch it on the replay and be like, okay, what'd you say? How? Right. I don't know what else. Like, it's the health.
No, I would love so much. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, the health condition.
I would love somebody to explain. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's not building family. He's specifically going to the wild and out girls. So it's something about their characteristic of being that he finds attractive that they will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess he can't go to Keisha around the block. My bad to any Keisha that's looking. It just was the first name that came to mind. Nothing intentional. Yeah, so I don't know. So, what you got, Daryl?
I mean, I think we said it all. I mean, we need to talk to one of the girls to see where they came from, see what these contracts look like.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a whole different role of an independent contractor. And who is the
benefits come with
lawyer?
this job?
Right. Who is the lawyer that
Right.
approved the contract? Like deep. Yeah, they should have interviewed the dad.
Wow.
Probably.
Very
I mean, yeah, that thought process comes from somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere. So it's been another great conversation, definitely with some wheels turning in different directions. With a Friday night sip and chat where we talked about the Nick Cannon formula. Can I pay you to have a baby? And we looked at, peeled back all different types of scenarios and come up with some interesting thoughts and comments. But it's a wrap for us, I believe. Unless there's any thoughts to come in the comments that wants to, continue this conversation. We shall see you on the flip side of next Friday. Next Friday at 8 p.m. And Miss Ruth, 8 o'clock, not 8:11. You're gonna get shouted out.
8 o'clock, Ruth. 8 o'clock.
You were part of the crew. You gotta be here when we get here. But for anybody else, we appreciate you watching and sharing and contributing to the conversation. So have a great weekend. Be safe. I see you laughing, Ruth.
Have a good one.